What's up, guys? So, let's start with our normal weekly updates. Updates. The R1 is gone. In its place, I bought a 2005 CBR 600RR, and there's about a billion things wrong with it, as there always seems to be with Hondas. But it's alright, we're gonna get it sorted out. It wasn't the best deal ever. Actually, we want to go this way. It wasn't the best deal ever, but we'll still make some money off it. Problem is, this time of year it's prime buying season, so the pickings aren't as good. So sometimes I can't guarantee my my 200%. So I finally tore into the LS engine. The very first breakdown video is going online this week. So stay tuned for that. So my kickstand for this bike still hasn't come in. Trail Tech, excellent products. Horrible processing and shipping department. I mean, hire another guy or something, because it shouldn't take 4 days for a part to ship, like between purchase and shipping. So not real thrilled about that. But it's whatever. I sold my WR to John. I think I mentioned that last week or whatever, and he went and fucking dumped it. But I'm actually heading over to his house right now to meet up, go do a little ride. I was the one who did a bunch of diagnostic work on the AK-47's WR. I got a borescope, went down there. There was a piece of aluminum melted to the top of the piston. Like I said, he posted up his video. He said that the shop told him that pretty much everything was fucked. I'm still trying to get a hold of him to take a look at the bike now that it's all torn apart, because I'd like to get an actual root cause on what happened, so that we can determine whether it was a lack of maintenance issue or if it was he just bought it that way or what the deal was. So hopefully there'll be some update on that soon. The other thing I wanted to talk about was I don't know if you guys have seen the BMW W3 concept or W-3 concept. Here's a picture of it. That whole V-twin plus a cylinder thing, like, I was looking at the design on the crank and it's just nuts. Like, the engineering that goes into that engine is nuts. So BMW hasn't done a proper cruising bike, like a cruiser, ever, because there was a 1200 cruiser that was designed, but it was never put to production. But this looks like it's going to make production, and I'll be honest with you guys, that's making my gentleman's sausage hard, because that is a beautiful, beautiful looking bike, and a triple, maybe 1300 cc's, air cooled. I mean, it's going to put out a respectable amount of power, and you know, if it's, you know, it's BMW, so it's going to be awesome. The other cool thing was I was reading an interview with Perrier, whatever. I forget the guy's name, but he's the CEO of KTM, and he's saying that, you know, they've had massive growth in the last couple of years, primarily with their on-road divisions and purchasing Husqvarna, but he's real ambitious. His plan is to have, at least in Europe, for it to be top 3 sellers be KTM, BMW, and Husky, and he wants KTM worldwide to move into the top 3. So he's gonna they've already knocked off Suzuki. Now they got to knock off, I think, Kawasaki and Yamaha are the next 2, which would put them in the top 3 worldwide, which is nuts. Because if you remember, like 10 years ago when this bike was made, KTM was the maker of like premier dirt bikes, basically. We'll put it that way, putting it nicely. They were high-end dirt bikes. I mean, obviously people bought them, but it wasn't nearly the same fervor that it is today. But especially as KTM has expanded into developing markets, they've, you know, they have like the RC390 and stuff like that. It's, their business has really grown a lot. The other bike I wanted to talk to you guys about is called the Zero FX. Zero, you might know, is the manufacturer that makes all electric bikes. They look quasi like maybe like a stripped down Honda CBR 300 type looking bike. But anyway, here's the picture of the FX, and get this. So this is their like hooligan urban toy version, and it's gonna get the big battery pack. It's gonna weigh in right at 300 pounds, which makes it a lot lighter than the DS and the S. And get this is my favorite part, right? So long travel suspension, basically a dirt bike, 298 pounds, 44 horsepower. Now, 298 pounds, 44 horsepower is about 50 pounds more than this bike and maybe 10 horsepower less. But here's the kicker. It makes 70 pound-feet of torque. That's right, 70, as in 70 pound-feet of torque. That's more than any 600cc bike on the market. That's like leader bike torque territory. Granted, those rev really high, but to put it in perspective, that you're looking to get 70 pound-feet of torque, you're looking at a 1000cc V-twin cruiser bike or something of that nature. So that is probably, you know, I mean, that's at least 20 or 30 pound-feet of torque more than this bike, and this bike's no slouch. So you're looking at maybe like a 50 pound, 60 pound difference between this bike and that bike, but you're looking at 70 pound-feet of torque, which is just monstrous. And obviously it's electric, so it's right off the line, and they're claiming about a 70-mile range on a charge. It's phenomenal in my opinion. And I mean, I will maybe get a test drive somewhere, maybe, but chances of me owning that bike are pretty much nil. But and if I remember correctly, they said it's right around $10,000, which means that it's going to be very, very competitive with basically this bike, or the modern 525, all the modern 500s, modern 450s, the big bore dual sport dirt bike based bikes. They're all right around $10,000, between 9 and 11. And if they can bring this Zero FX in at 10 grand out the door, or whatever, you know, at 10 grand MSRP, you are looking at a very competitive, very cool option to people who just want, you know, an urban toy. Basically an out-of-the-box SuperMoto dirt bike that makes a phenomenal amount of power and doesn't use any gas. Well, that's unfortunate. I haven't talked to Matt about this. That's a giant-ass bolt. But, you know, he made that video where he was bitching about, you know, buying a crappy dirt bike or whatever, and he was saying that, you know, he's had really bad luck with bikes and stuff, and which is fine. I mean, I guess I sympathize with him. But the truth is, these big bore SuperMotos, these are dirt bikes, and they're race bikes, and they require a colossal amount of maintenance. I mean, the only bike I ever really regret selling was my 03 Gixxer 750. It was my second bike, and it had like 5,000 miles on it. It was beautiful. Totally mint stock until it was stolen. And I regret selling that bike, but at the time I needed the money, so... anyway, the point is that that bike, I put like 10,000 miles on it in the year and a half that I owned it. I think I changed the oil twice, one oil filter. I put an air filter in it. That was literally it. That is everything I did to that bike. Oh yeah, I put one set of tires on it. So you're looking at basically just wear items. On this bike, I have like 600 miles. I have changed the oil like 3 times now. I've what else? I've changed the air filter. I've cleaned it once. I mean, it's gone through 2 sets of oil filters. It's blown apart both case sides. I've had to RTV them back. You know, basically replace the gaskets. I mean, it just constantly has maintenance issues. Like this fucking bolt that just fell out. Speaking of bolts that fell out, at some point, this is just the price you pay, because it's like, you want a high performance, high strung single cylinder, this is the price you pay. And he needs to understand that that's just the way it is. You know, if he wants a bike that doesn't need a whole lot of maintenance, he should get an actual street bike again. But anyway, we're almost at Matt's house, so I'm gonna call it for the vlog. We're gonna probably do some dual stuff and talk to you guys on the flip side. Peace.